guys, Justin Williams here, Dirt Time Adventures, and today it's like day 16 here at Sigma 3 for me, and we wrapped up quickie bows, and we're moving on to our actual bows, which I'm really excited to do. Unfortunately, it's kind of a good and a bad thing. My bow, whenever I took it off the tree and stuck it in the shed because we got a bunch of rain, it decided it was going to set a little more vertical, arched than I would have hoped. And so what we're going to do with it is, because I planed it real nicely, is we're going to make a crossbow out of it. And so I'm going to cut off about 6 inches off the ends and get ready to make a crossbow. Alright, so for the primitive crossbow that I'm converting my bow into, I need a stock now. And so I got this piece of cedar, and the reason I went with the cedar stock is because I'm going to have to drill through it. I'm going to have to drill through the middle, and I'm going to try using a bow drill or fire burn it. And then I got to drill one through the top for the trigger. Okay? And so this is the concept here. I'm going to use the fatter end for my stock, and the crossbow will go to the end, finger come underneath. And so, well, I got a full day's work in on this crossbow. It's coming along real nicely. I'm really happy with it. Was really hoping to finish the trigger before nightfall, before it got too late, but I ended up splitting out the top of the trigger, so I'm gonna have to make a new trigger. And I still need to cut out the notch more. But the whole concept of this is you would pull your string down to the notch. Alright guys, well, it took a lot of fine tuning, and I still got a little bit more. Right now the poundage isn't real heavy because the limbs are a little long, but I think if I do a little bit of tweaking, make the limbs a little bit shorter, and adjust the string height, because I'm getting a lot of friction on the rail from the string, I think I'd get a lot further distance. But primitive crossbow, guys, I'm going to shoot it off and let you see it in action. Bam! Look at that crap. You see that? Look at that! Primitive crossbow. Yeah!
So cut wherever you want to cut. Understand that there is no right or wrong way to do this, except for destroying your bow. But when it comes to the shape and the poundage of your bow, that's up to you. If you remove more weight, obviously you're going to get a weaker bow, but if you don't remove enough, you're not going to be able to pull it back. So go ahead and cut an angle here that you can work towards. If it's not enough, then you cut it again, and then you work towards that again. But if you're just sawing blind or rasping blind, you're probably not going to do as good of a job, and it's going to take you forever. Don't be afraid to remove weight. If you've got a guideline, that's what the guideline is for, is to help you have a spot to know where you're not going to go past. So I would even go as far as to draw a line all the way up the bow in the shape of a bow. So each limb, go ahead and match those sides. The piece that I think that you guys probably learn the most without knowing it is consistency. A lot of people have limbs that were kind of floppy on one side and perfectly straight on the other. You're probably not going to have that issue with these staves because they're already pre-seasoned, dried, and cut exactly how they should be. If anything goes wrong with this process, understand it is your fault. Alright? So if you go too far and then you come to me after it's already messed up, it's too late. I can't fix everything, nor can Josh. So you guys have to take your time, but at the same time, be wise about your time. We don't want to take 6 days to make hickory bows. So don't be afraid to remove weight. Just do it consciously with the idea of the shape that you're going for. Go ahead and cut out a guideline, follow that, and then meet it every time until you're happy and satisfied with the flex of your bow limbs. The handle we can work on last, because that's going to be kind of contingent upon the shape of the ultimate limb, or the end result of your limb shape, whatever you come up with, however that looks for you. There may be a little bit of work with staining today if we get far enough. The last step is going to be obviously tillering our bows, making sure that everything is nice and even on both sides. But for right now, we just need to worry about removing weight, and I'm telling you right now, that's about twice the thickness that we wanted. So we're going to go ahead and start off with removing half. Get a pencil or get something that you can draw yourself a guide, or go ahead and come down here and cut a guide if you made a successful bow yesterday. If you did not make a successful bow, you absolutely need to cut a guide today. Otherwise, you just threw $125 down the drain. And the last thing I want you guys to have to deal with is buying another stave or failing at this one and not having anything to take home with you. So for those that didn't have a good day yesterday with their quickie bows, take your time. People that kind of excelled at it, you kind of know what to do already. And you can move at your own pace. But I caution anyone who had trouble or difficulty with their quickie bows, or if your quickie bow is not done yet, you might want to stay close to me or Josh and kind of get some guidance. Yeah. It's the same engine, but it's a different craft. And the way that
definitely need to do more reading.
So week 3 here at the Sigma 3 instructor program is bow making, and I've done a lot of work to this one today. I was hoping to get a little more of the process on video, but it's just really time consuming, and you just kind of get in the groove and start working it. But the whole idea here is with these staves, the ones that you pay for, not the quickie bows, but the actual staves, they're perfectly aligned, so you don't have to worry about the set like I had on my quickie bow. This one is beautifully straight. It's going to have some great design and texture in it, and pretty much what you're trying to do is plane it down to about a 1/2 inch, and a little less than 1/2 inch actually. And something that we're seeing regularly is guys getting it planed off to one side more than the other. And so what I've done to help combat that is I come in here and I draw in little ticks. Let's see if I can get you a little better lighting of this. Come to this side and draw in these lines here all the way across, and they kind of hump, and it lets you know when you start sanding it and start planing it out, it tells you whether or not you're getting the whole thing flat. And so right here you can see there's no line marks, but there are on the sides, so I need to plane that down just a little bit further. And so it's a little bit of a process. It takes a lot of grunt power. We're doing this with basic tools, something that anybody could use, a simple rasp, and your knife is pretty much what we're using to shape these out. And I'm really pleased with the setup and the look of mine so far, and it's coming along nicely. Once again, here on the handle, I'm gonna have about a 4-finger wide handle, and this is about a little over a 2-finger taper. Not quite 3 fingers on the taper on these ones. These are seasoned bow staves, so they don't require as much taper as you would on, per se, a quickie bow. And giving a 3-finger taper on a quickie bow gives you more room for error, and it's just not as needed here on the actual stave. This is about a 3-day process, and I'm hoping to bust mine out in a couple days, but I don't want to rush the process either. I want to enjoy it and make the most of it. So if you're interested in making a bow with Sigma 3 Survival School, you can take the instructor course, or you can take just the Bowyer's course. So guys, be sure to get online, check it out, survivalschool.us, and sign up for a class. This one here particularly is actually unique. Most of them were straight, but this one had this little elbow here, which I think it gives it a lot of character. So I really like it, really happy with how it turned out, and yeah, time to finish sanding it and then shape my handle and put some linseed oil on it, and my bow will be finished. So alright guys, well hey, it's Cinco de Mayo, day 17. I think we're gonna go celebrate. Going into town, I'm gonna get some Mexican food, which is my favorite. And so it's like celebration. Anyways, good stuff. Oh, by the way, we do still have to make, we're going to make our own bowstrings. We're going to take some Sinew and make bowstrings, and then later this week we're going to make arrows. So I don't know how much of that I'm going to get on video, but thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Dirt Time Adventures, guys. So keep it practical, primitive, and prepared.
So essentially what we've done here is taken artificial sinew and we've wrapped it on a 6-foot length board. We've got a nail attached at the top and at the bottom, and this is measured out to be 6 foot. You can do 8 foot if you like. We use the artificial sinew because it's the closest thing we can get to B50 Dacron. And it's also, I feel like it's a really fun substitute to utilize because it looks more primitive. And so what we're going to do is go ahead and wrap around 4 times, or we've already wrapped around 4 times, and that gives you 8 strands in total. And so once you've wrapped it around 4 times, you can come straight to the base here, give it a nice little blunt cut, pull it off the top, and start doing your counter twisting cordage. And so all we're going to do here is twist away from us, pick up, and then tuck towards us. And we'll continue that down about, I'd say, 3 to 4 inches or so. Once we reach our desired length in terms of our counter twist, we're going to take one of the sides of the cordage and just commit to any side. It's not really important which side you choose, and I'm going a little bit quicker than I should. I still have a little bit to twist up, but I want you to see exactly how this works out. And so you commit to one side, and then you simply unravel one twist, give yourself a little room to breathe, and then take the end of your tag, and then you slide it through like so, and that'll give you kind of a continuous loop effect that is, I feel like, really sought after by a lot of bow makers and people who twist up their own strings. And so you've got this situation here, and what you can do from there is continue your counter twist just as you were before, and working your way to the bottom of that 4-inch mark that we had originally discussed. And once you get there, let's say we're at that 4-inch mark at this point. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time just twisting this for the sake of twisting, and I'll go ahead and show you the next step. So what we're going to do is take that loop. I'm going to reattach it to the nail up here at the top, and just casually cross it over and over. You want to make sure that you're going in the direction of your counter twisted cordage at the top. And you work your way down. The closer you keep these, the further down your twist will travel. The higher you pull it up, the tighter your twist will be. So again, if you keep these strings close to each other, you'll have a looser twist. And then the higher or the further apart you separate them, the tighter the twist will be. So we're just going to continue that exact process all the way down until we're comfortable. And you can always go back and retighten this once you're done, so don't get overzealous and make it too tight for yourself, and then your string's shorter than it needs to be, and you have to do this whole process over again, or do any backtracking whatsoever. So it's best just to take it easy, and then once you get down to the bottom, we're going to continue with our cordage twisting. I like to kind of measure it out to see where I'm going to be going. So that looks about what I'm looking for, give or take. And I like to go no bigger than 2 fingers in width or diameter. Come back, we'll start rewrapping with our counter twist. As we start to get closer to the very end, I like to just finish it off with a simple overhand knot, and then I will apply a timber hitch or something similar that will be adjustable. That way, until I find the exact spot that I want it to get the proper brace height, I'll have an opportunity to adjust it until I do get that brace height exactly where I want it.
Hey guys, Justin Williams here, Dirt Time Adventures. It is day 19 here at Sigma 3 Survival School, and we have finished up, well, I personally have finished up my bow today. I need to put a little bit of linseed oil on it, and begin to put a couple coats of that on there, and she will be good to go. Really pleased. I think I got about a 50 to 60 pound pull on it, and right now when you're breaking in a bow, you don't want to pull it back to full draw. So right now I'm practicing at half draws, and we'll build up to a full draw. But really pleased with how she came out. Just got some beautiful shape to her. Really happy with how she turned out. So I'm going to put a few arrows in the target downrange and get ready to call it a day. That bad boy, bullseye. Well, they only give us one arrow because a lot of the guys here, including myself, have a real bad habit of losing them. But this is my bow and arrow, guys. Thanks for tuning in and watching. My brace height, you'll notice, is a little low, but the purpose for that is as it shapes, it'll release more, and as I break it in. So really pleased with it. I got a lot of hard work invested in it, and it's finally nice to have a finished product that you're really proud of. And man, I'm really proud of it. So I think this week we're going to do some more advanced skills with flint knapping and hide processing and hide tanning and processing meat with stone tools, and hopefully do some basketry and get ready for Scout Week, which is coming up really quickly. It's gonna hit me before I know it. So good stuff. Thanks, guys.